So today I thought that what we would do, since we never do anything for Halloween, is because you guys don't really like it, we're gonna work from, it's so bright, we're gonna work from the Vegan Dim Sum book. We're gonna do a variation of plain mantou, which is like a heartier type of bread, page 50, and we're going to fill it, we're gonna make it black first, and then we're going to fill it with some pumpkin custard filling. And I thought that this would both be like a Halloween-esque type color scheme, but also it will be very delicious as well. So let us start off. Okay, so I've measured it out. I'm gonna put the recipe down below, but it's page 50 from the Vegan Dim Sum cookbook. Flour first, and I'll explain each of the ingredients as we go. All right, all-purpose flour, a little bit of salt, some sugar, baking powder. I'm gonna do a teaspoon of yeast. So this mantou recipe is not necessarily a quick bread like the buns that we typically do. Usually like the ones that I use for savory fillings, it's a lot more puffy and it's a lot more like quick bread. But this one, it's also a little bit drier, and the drier dough is nice because it comes like a heartier dough, it's a harder dough, and that's great for softer fillings. So this is charcoal powder. I have 2 tablespoons of it. So I have a little bit of water here, just cool water. I'm not going to add all of it. You can see with the addition of water, it has made it quite dark. Normally it takes a little bit over a half a cup. Maybe with the activated charcoal, it's going to take a little bit more. So we shall see. Sticky. So what I am working with here is activated charcoal. So a couple of years ago, I did a video that was charcoal ice cream, and I heard a load from everybody about, you know, like, I can't believe that you're using charcoal, what are you doing? So with activated charcoal, what it is they take coconut husks and they burn them in the absence of oxygen, and that's the big thing. So what you end up getting is this charcoal powder that people use for various health purposes, but it is not carcinogenic in the way that, like, we're not taking charcoal that you're using from, you know, your barbecue grill into this. Do not do that. Charcoal powder has a very high surface area, so everywhere it touches, it starts absorbing things. So what this in particular is good for is, like, let's say that you've ingested something that you shouldn't have. Your kids have ingested something that they shouldn't have, and you have to go to the hospital because it's actually, you know, a big deal. Hospitals will actually use charcoal powder and have you ingest it so that it helps in absorbing some of the toxic stuff in your system. I mean, probably in addition to, I don't know, pumping out your stomach or something. So knowing this, you'll see sometimes like people use the word, you know, activated charcoal with things like, oh, like it detoxifies. You'll see it in drinks sometimes. And I don't necessarily know if it detoxifies or actually, you know, even what necessarily detoxification means, but it does have that ability to, you know, absorb it. Maybe it could be fats, maybe it could be like whatever is in your system. So what you do need to people that do need to watch out for, even though this is such a small amount, is if you are somebody that takes medication, you probably want to wait a couple of hours between this and your medication, because it does contain charcoal. It does have that ability to absorb maybe some of that medication, have you pass it out. Now that it's not really going to stain the board, I think, too much. Don't really think so at all. So I started making noodles the other day, and I was reading into essentially this lateral knead, because like with bread, we just, you know, we tend to just roll it in circles and whatnot, but with this lateral knead, apparently it kind of aligns the gluten structure in different ways. And I've seen people who work in restaurants that make buns that kind of prefer this method. I don't know. So I'm not too good at it quite just yet, but essentially you keep everything kind of long. So So I have no idea why I chose not to speak on this section, or why my grocery store did not have canned pumpkin. But yeah, here goes the filling. So I start off by cutting up one pumpkin. I hate cutting up pumpkins. It's so scary to do. I always think I'm going to chop off my hands. But I'm going to put these into a steamer, steam them up, get them nice and pureed, and then I am going to add custard in, which I also made homemade. So I'll just confess now, the filling, as you guys can see, is a bit thin. So what I ended up doing, I only used half the pumpkin, but I went to the stove and I cooked it down some more until it was about, 2 cups of filling. I stuck it in the fridge so that it would harden up so that it would be easier to fill the buns later. Okay, so now this. I have some flour, but I think that the flour might dilute the color of this dark bread, so some of that gold is coming off. So really, it hasn't really been resting. It's been kind of just chilling out about 10 minutes or so. Okay, so that's the donut method. We stuck a little hole in the center, and then now we're just kind of finding the width that we want. So normally what I would do is once we kind of flatten each of these down, we would start rolling. But because this time we're a little bit more worried about the shape, we're also worried about the texture of the dough. This one is a little bit big, and how will I disseminate that? We want the dough to be smooth as well. So this is actually one of the techniques that I had seen for smoother dough, and I talk about this in the cookbook as well, in the custard buns recipe. But what chefs will do essentially is, after kneading it, so you might kind of give these a little bit of a knead first. So gosh, where am I? Okay, so let's give it a little bit of a knead first, just to wake it up again, because it was resting for just a very, very small amount of time. If you were just making plain buns, right? If you were making plain buns, you might just, like this would be it. Okay, and then you can put it on to a sheet, like a little parchment, and then you would steam it just like that. But if we're gonna fill it, and we also want that additional insurance that this bun dough will stay, I guess, as smooth as possible. Because I think with the charcoal, it changes the texture just a little bit, I feel. It seems to like to rip a little bit more. Gosh, my fingernails have all this black stuff in it right now. So this technique was shown in the book. I roll it out long, and then I fold it on top of itself, and I fold it on top of itself one more time. And it's really this technique of layering the dough on top of one another, flattening it, laying it on top of one another, that I guess enables the bun, when it steams, to not puff up all over the place. Like, there's a lot of pressure from each of the layers, so that when it expands, it expands, somewhat evenly and not too all of a sudden. Okay, so now I have the filling that I've boiled down some more, so you can see that it jiggles, but it actually, it's nice, it's creamy, but it's not watery anymore. What we're gonna do is, again, it depends on your bun or how thick you want it, but I think we're going to try to keep it, oh, yeah, I mean 3 inches, and then working on that outer, maybe outer 1/2 inch. I'm gonna try to get it back into a circular shape. We're gonna make that 1/2 inch thinner. And those of you who have been with the channel again, you can see that this thicker center, that's useful because our filling is on the kind of more liquidy, more soft side. So it's good to have that thicker base. And those thinner edges are going to make it easier to pleat. Not that we're going to be pleating today too much necessarily, but when you bunch it all together, you also realize that it can be quite heavy as well. So I don't know. Okay. So that's probably 2 tablespoons. Get off. Like how that doesn't like to come out anymore. That's great. So let us pretend. 2 tablespoons. There you go. Nice and big and Halloweeny. So I don't think we need to pleat, but just start bringing the sides together carefully. And I think you'll know, like, when your filling is a little liquidy, it starts becoming difficult to do this and to get it all together. So also a good idea to not overfill like I did, as I do. Oh well, a bit of a challenge. I can tell it'll be an issue. A wee bit of bun surgery. Okay, cool. So this bit afterwards. Okay, good. Perfect. As best as you can. And then just fix the form just a little bit. And I need to just cut some squares out of the parchment. Okay. And then we can stick it here and you don't have to put any additional oil. So now let's do the rest. This may be too much again. Oh well. It's interesting. Let's see how to unsquare it. Usually it helps to pleat it in this way, if just to get it back into a circular shape. Okay. Just bunch all of that together. And you can peel off some of this if you feel like the bottom is bunching up a bit, but it's all right. I'm just shaping this a little bit. Now you're going to let this dough rest in kind of a warm place 30 minutes so that it has time to puff up again, ferment, and then also relax itself on the surface. And then we're going to steam it on medium heat for like 10 to 12 minutes, and then these buns should be all set. Okay, so this is right around 12 minutes. Oh, look at this. Focus, focus, focus. There you go. Those look good. This one I had rolled on like a seam, so it was kind of already rougher looking, but this one looks good. This one's pretty okay. I think some of them are rougher looking, but all in all, pretty nice. So before we do anything, I got this gold dust powder that I thought might be cool to use as ink, so that we can I don't know, like use it as a stamp. I don't know how that will work. I don't know if I should dissolve this in like alcohol or water or oil. So here's some rose water. Lovely. Ooh, this is very pretty. So, yeah, I think this will do. Ooh, this will be really pretty. Okay, wait, let's try it. Look at how vibrant that comes out. Okay, that is good. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Clog it up, but I just want to see, like, one of the things got clogged already. Oh well. I tried doing it like this before, but I don't know if it was the best way of doing it. Let's see. Okay, so should we center, off center? Where should we put it? I don't know. Okay, let's do it off. Maybe it'll be a bit artsy that way. Fingers crossed. It's our best bun. Okay. Ooh, that looks pretty. Bring you guys up for a close-up. Closer. Ooh, that did well. That looks quite nice. It's quite expensive. The ink might be a tad dry, so I'm going to add a little bit more water to it, and then we'll see if we can get a slightly more liquid mixture. Do this one here, off to the side a little bit. Tapping all that good stuff in. Ooh, this one came out way better. That's way more kind of liquidy, liquid gold-esque. I wonder if we can maybe try to fix up the other one. This usually will not work, but oh, it's so liquidy now. I'm gonna try to correct for this one. Shiny. Yes, yes. But now it's kind of over. It's like, it looks thicker. So last one. This one. Oh, it's gonna make gold flecks everywhere. Not a bad thing, not a bad thing. So dip it in here first, and then I'm gonna pick up some of the gold dust. I originally just dipped in before, but it made it kind of watery. So, okay, let's go right here. This one looks a little lumpier. Yeah, that one was a little liquidy. That's okay, this looks really nice. This is really pretty. Idea how this will actually turn out. I let them cool down a bit first. Oh my gosh. Ooh, that looks really nice. guys. Hope you guys all enjoyed this recipe. It's been in my mind aesthetically. This bun, this gold has been in my mind for a really long time, so I'm so glad to have gotten a chance to execute it on Halloween. As usual, if you want to see more recipes like this, like and subscribe, comment, visit the Patreon page, and I will see you guys all again next time. Bye.